Monsters vs. Aliens is the hit movie everyone's talking about.
It was awesome! I love the monsters, I love the aliens.
The whole goddamn film was animated.
Well, if you like Monsters vs. Aliens, you'll love the sequel, Monsters vs. Aliens vs. Bears.
I'm gonna wanna fuck that movie.
And if you like the sequel, you'll love the sequel, Monsters vs. Aliens vs. Bears vs. Nazis vs. Hot Sauce.
I'm sorry, did you say Nazis?
If you like the sequel, you'll love the sequel, Monsters vs. Aliens vs. Your Mom versus Bicycle Bear versus Bouncy Bear versus Berenstain Bears versus Bazones versus Cosplay Kratos versus Giant Underpants versus ShamWow versus the Jeffersons versus Clowns versus Irate versus Max Rebo's Jizz Wailing Band versus Lady Punch.
Well.
Versus zombies, versus puppies, versus Snuggies, versus Freddy, versus Jason, versus Freddy, versus Jason, versus Cran Factory, versus Little Sisters, versus Baby Eating a Lemon, versus Animated Gifts, versus the Triple Lindy, versus Pop-Tarts, versus Cat on a Roomba, versus Soda Popinski, versus MySpace D-Bag, versus Cash for Gold, versus Parappa the Rapper, versus Egon, versus Robbie Sinclair, versus Stains the Cupcake Dog, versus Jam, versus IKEA Ektorp Chair, versus Pone.
You're not seeing it. Stay away from my son.
Versus Pone, versus Pone, versus Pone.
That's too much!
Did we mention they're in 3D?